Welcome to the Warren Cycling Podcast. My name is Dean Warren. I'm in Frankfurt, Germany today.
I'm Randy Warren, and I'm in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah, it's super appropriate to be in Frankfurt today since there was a bicycle race here, a World Tour race. I don't remember it always being a World Tour race because it seemed like not all World Tour teams were here even like just a year ago, I thought. But yeah, it's on the calendar, one-day World Tour race. They've spiced it up a little bit by adding a little more climbing. It used to be a pretty much a sprinter's race, even though there is quite a bit of climbing, but nothing too severe. Although they've added an extra time going up the Grosser Feldberg, the highest point in this area. And the last 2 years, it's worked to break up the field, and more teams are sending more classic-style riders. And it came down to a group of about 36. And Jan Christian, the young Swiss rider for UAE Emirates, was off the front solo and got caught under 3 kilometers and just came down to a small brunt sprint with some fast guys. But it was Maxime van Gils, the Belgian rider for Lotto Destiny, who's been very solid this spring. And he came through to take the win ahead of Aaron Brew from Movistar and Riley Sheehan, the American riding on Israel Premier Tech. So Riley even last year, like a year ago, he was riding in the United States for Denver Disruptors and doing well at Joe Martin's stage race and racing the National Cycling League criteriums. And he got a stagiaire ride for Israel Premier Tech, made the most of it last year, winning Paris Tours. Mm-hmm. And then this year he's already done three monuments, and he got a podium today. So very good for that. So yeah, it was a great day, great weather. It's been kind of cool lately here, but it's beautiful day. And I got there in time to do a few interviews, so we can play some interviews if you want to hear those from the 3 Americans that were racing. Besides Riley, it was Neilson Powless returning to racing. This has been a big monologue for me here, but I'm not giving you a chance to say anything. Neilson Powless, this is my time to shine, though. I've got a big day of cycling coverage for the Warren Cycling Podcast here. Neilson Powless coming back after his injury to race again, and Kevin Vermaerke, who we talked to quite a bit because he's been so solid, and he's actually getting ready to do a second Grand Tour at the Giro. So got to talk to all of them before, and a couple of short interviews after the race to catch the riders to see how it was, especially Riley, who I caught right after the finish. So he was kind of in that also almost won, he almost won, like disappointment, but also that he had fought back to get to the line after being dropped twice, he said, and then Neilson being happy about how well his race went. So yeah, tell me what's going on with you, and then we'll jump into it. Maybe we'll see what's going on with your picture behind you, since looks like some happiness going on there.
Yeah, I mean, so EF, which isn't even a World Tour team, but they're doing the Vuelta Femenina, and they've EF's had 2 wins already. So Alison Jackson won with a huge lead out by Kristen Faulkner, and then apparently it was lots of crashes and it's been bad weather, and Kristen just drilled it for the last like 3K, and then Alison just had her wheel, and she said that no one could even come around, and so she was able to get the sprint win. And then today Kristen Faulkner took off, I think, with 6K to go on a little bump. It was mostly a downhill second half of the race, and won by 10 seconds, held off the field for 10-second win. So that's both of them. I think that was after today, where Kristen Faulkner had won, and Alison Jackson came up to congratulate her. It was interesting because there's some video that's, I don't know, it's gone viral, but certainly all over the place, where Alison Jackson almost attacks Kristen Faulkner after her win 2 days ago, and Kristen was barely able to hold on to her balance, even to not fall over her bike and stuff like that too. And then Alison did her famous dance. She always dances after after she gets a win, so she hits some dance too. So yeah, it's been a great. I mean, already the Volta España Femenines is already
4 stages and 2 wins, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if they don't do anything else the rest of the time, they've had a successful Grand Tour. And the climbing, so Marianne Vos won stage 2, and then Little Trek won the team time trial the first day, even though they had a crash apparently right before the finish. And so, but it's going to go to climb.
Yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So tomorrow's as a medium climbing stage, but finishes with a Cat 2 climb, I think, and then the 6th and 8th stage as a Cat 1 climb for the finishing stage. So it'll really shake up the standings a lot. But even Kristen Faulkner, I mean, she's done really well in climbing races before too. So she maybe has a chance to do well. And I'm not sure well they have there too, because they have Veronica Ewers right on the team, who's a good climber. So maybe she's going to shine and has maybe, who knows, getting a stage win or not. That'd be, if they got a 3rd stage win, that'd be icing on the cake at this point.
Right. Predictions would say that Demi Fullering's going to have her coming out party for this year, as she hasn't won yet, but she just signed a really nice contract with Nike. So
apparently only the 3rd athlete to do that. So Mark Cavendish, and then of course Lance, do it. So yeah,
cyclist athlete.
Cyclist, right? Yeah. So
yeah.
it's a huge deal if she gets that. Yeah. And there's also rumors about her not being happy in SD Works and moving next year, and because Lotta Kopecky already signed a contract for the next couple of years, and she's not. So but I think no matter what happens, she's going to want to try and win this, because she's not won this race yet, and she needs a good season if she's going to move to anybody else too. And Nike's going to not put pressure on her necessarily, but expect her to have results in a race like this that clearly suits her.
Right, for sure. Well, this is episode 354 of the Warren Cycling Podcast. It is May 1st. It's Labor Day here in Europe, and I think in Brazil, maybe other South America. It's
May Day.
May Day, yeah. But nothing was open so it's good today to have a press credentials to go to the race, because the media room here is pretty good about food. So I was able to get over to get my press pass and go out and grab a sandwich and come back after I went up to the climb, the steep climb they hit 3 times. It's got you can see downtown Frankfurt in the background. It's pretty cool. And it was funny today because John Dakenkolb, who would be a favorite fast man, and he's local. He lives right near right near in the area he trains. And actually a Spanish woman who's living in Germany for a long time was standing next to me on top of the hill, and they used to live like down at the base of the hill, and they would see him out training sometimes. And so there's a lot of fans around for him. So he went in an early break, but it was only a break of 3, but he took all the KOM points, and he was coming over the top of the climb to, getting those points, and he got the KOM award. So I guess he figured that was his best chance to entertain, which is great that the riders from local riders figure out, wow, what can I do to give these fans something to cheer for? And so, okay, I'll go out and do what I can, because I guess he didn't figure he would be able to win.
So the highest point hit 3 times, because it only shows it twice in the profile.
No, that's the highest point twice, but there's a short, steep climb, Mammelsheim, that they did 3 times.
Yeah, 2.4K at 7.7%. So they shows it twice here, but it must be included one other time someplace then. Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
on the way
up the second time up the Freiburg.
To the highest point. Yeah.
It's not called Freiburg. It's the Feldberg.
Goes to Feldberg. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And that climb is rated twice differently. The first time they go up it's 11.1K at 4.8%, and then the second time
I went that direction the other day, and it's very gradual. Just hit some steeper pitches towards the top, but you have a little break before you get to the top. But this other way, now I can't ride that steep part. They ride normally without going the wrong way on a one-way street.
Okay.
And actually riding out of town, I can't follow the course either, because it's a road that turns into only autos. Car. Yeah. So like we found out before, like in Richmond, we wanted to ride the course, and it was one-way streets, and
we did anyway.
We did it anyway. But yeah, there are different races where, I mean, it's great cycling. You can ride the same roads and the routes that the pros are doing, but sometimes the roads are set up in a way that you're not allowed to normally ride them. So I couldn't ride exactly the whole route here, which I'm kind of interested to do. Is 200 kilometers, 10,000 feet of climbing, but I wouldn't be able to do it the exact route and follow the road rules. Well, I can't for sure go on the restricted road, because that
you get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting too, because you saw the climb happened the first 2 times relatively close together, because it makes a short loop, and then the third time was closer to the end of the race, and you did not see it then, right? That's
no. And Neilson Powless, I think, was making a move there, which I missed, but he was like surprised himself that he was able to do that after having so little training. So
yeah, so he's been off for a long time, right?
Since
when?
All right, well, let's. I talked to him twice because I would talk to him right before the team presentation, and then I caught him right before the start because I wanted to ask about his program coming up, so he told me that. So let's run those first two kind of go together as one with Neilson Powless. All right, exciting day. Neilson Powless here, back racing again, huh? Tell me about everything you can about your recovery, preparation now for this race, and what's going on with you.
Yeah, so I had a crash in Gran Camino on the final stage, DNF'd unfortunately, and I don't. It was hard to say if I broke a rib or just bruised one really bad, but I think I was sort of twisting, compensating for that, which caused some inflammation in my patella, and all the racing right after that was very cold and intense, so I think it just put extra strain on my tendon on top of just maybe compensating from the crash. But yeah, unfortunately just had to wait for the inflammation to go down. Lots of rehab and a few weeks off the bike, and then a very slow progression back up to a normal training plan, but I'm healthy now, and I was trying my best to stay fit during the rehab with lots of swimming and strengthening exercises to hopefully take some pressure off that tendon. But yeah, I hope I'm in a right direction now.
Yeah. How are you feeling, like specifically today with your form and your numbers and that? How are you getting close to where you want to be?
There's still a long way to go till I'm planning to be at my best, but I'm just really happy to be back in the peloton, and I'm healthy and I feel pretty good, but I wouldn't call myself a favorite today.
Can you think that having a family at home now helps with the rehab process maybe a little bit more better than if you're just single by yourself wishing you were racing instead? You got a nice diversion to be at home?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I was home, honestly, I was just checking the boxes. I wasn't really thinking too much about the races I was missing or the injury. It was more just do what I could do and control what I could control, and just help out around the house pretty much the rest of the time. So it was all right.
All right, Neilson, just tell me a little bit about your season coming up after this race. What do you got planned next?
I'm going back to Texas with my family for a bit of time at home before nationals, and then I'll race the national championships in America. And then after nationals, I'll come back to Europe and go to altitude to get ready for Tour de Suisse, and then hopefully the Tour de France.
All right. Is the U.S. Nationals a chance to qualify for the Olympics?
Could be. It's going to be hard to. It's going to be tough to beat Brendan, but yeah, I'll still give it a go.
Is it just the TT that will qualify, or can you get the road race win? That doesn't.
Yeah, it's just the TT that's a qualifier. Yeah, the road race could be a qualification for Worlds, but not for the Olympics.
All right. Yeah. Is that a big goal you had coming into this year, or is that something you hope sometime to get to?
Yeah, the Olympics was definitely a goal coming into the season. It still is, but it's going to be a bit more difficult because of the injuries I've had this spring. I wasn't able to have the spring I wanted. I know that I'll be able to get myself fit enough to compete, but it's about making the selection.
All right. Is a stage win at Tour de Suisse a chance then?
Yeah, definitely. The team's shifting a little bit for that race, so I'm not 100% sure what my role is going to be there, but whether it's going for GC or going for stage, that's definitely one of the two.
All right, we'll get out there, enjoy today, enjoy being back in the peloton and racing, and this is a beautiful day.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
See you.
All right, then after the race, we might as well play them all to stay on the Neilson subject here. Neilson, how'd it feel? How'd it feel racing again, huh?
Yeah, good. I kind of pulled something out of the hat today.
Yeah, you were punching it over the last time up the steep climb.
Surprised myself. I mean, it was
feeling good, huh?
Yeah. I guess freshness is good for me. I only got like a week of training for this, so.
With the Freddy Fresh legs.
Yeah, it's good. Maybe I only need to train 1 week now for all the big races.
Yeah.
nice.
Certain riders that do that.
Yeah, old school.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I think I guess the cross training and everything like that, the rehab work that I was doing, I guess it just kind of kept my fitness pretty good while I had the injury, and I think that's just testament to the team doctors, this guy John right here, and our physios. They, even though I didn't really feel motivated to do it, they told me I needed to do something to keep my blood flowing and stay on top of rehab, even though I would just wanted to lay in bed. So maybe it's because of that I stayed, that I was able to put in a good ride here today.
Yeah, excellent. Well, it's a good foreshadowing of what's to come, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think, I'm really confident now going into the summer. It's nice.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
to confirm that. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks. See you, Nick.
Yeah, I didn't quite find the right words. I wanted to ask him, not foreshadowing, but it was just a good indicator for him that he's at a better point than he thought he would be to compete now, and that he can get back into racing and not feel like he has to make up so much ground to get back up to a level where he can race well.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a confidence boost, and he probably won't be able to really know where he is until he does some more races. And actually, probably I would guess until he gets to the Tour de Suisse. Then in that race, he'll kind of get a chance to know if he's really where he wants to be, because sometimes you can do a good day and then, you suffer more the next day, or you're not quite able to bounce back. But sometimes, you're fine too. I mean, people gotten a good rest before, and I remember like Sean Kelly said one time he broke his collarbone in June or July, something like that, and he had a killer end of the season, and he took 2 or 3 weeks off when he had that time. And he said he never did that, but yet he raced super good well afterwards because he came into that injury really fit, and that rest actually did him a ton of good. So I don't think it's quite the same situation with Neilson, but same time, he was obviously going to be really fit coming into his injury, and so was it
Chris Horner hardly raced the year he won the Vuelta. He had some injuries in that.
You always point out Perry Roubaix.
Matty Hayman.
Matty Hayman when he won after spending all time on the trainer. So
on the trainer,
So you never know.
1 day. Yeah, well, that's a 1 day race. Big win, but like Chris Horner didn't race that much, and then he won a Grand Tour. So
I was looking to see too if USA Cycling has published the Olympic qualifying. And it doesn't show up on their website.
Because you read differently that the road race could qualify, or not?
It didn't specifically say the road race, but it included the road race in a blanket statement as being a qualifier for the Olympics. So, I wasn't sure.
Like for Matteo Jorgensen, he won the Varsdorf Flandern race, which qualified him, but he won Paris-Nice, which didn't qualify him, a stage race. So I don't. Yeah.
And I'm sure there has to be, so it has to be published someplace.
They have to know what they have to. I mean, he sounded like he knew what it was, but I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not
for whatever information he got.
A lot of times it hasn't been, all that clear.
They want to keep it discretionary so they could send who they want to. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's been an issue too. So if you're a World Tour pro and it's discretionary, you've got a huge advantage over a domestic pro maybe who might be able to win a race, and qualify. So, and again, we only have 3 people this year. Actually, it's better. We have 3 people. We've only had 2 the last couple of years. We have 3 male people get to do the road race, and so I think
they have to do the time. That's the total they'll get. They don't get a separate time trialist and a road racer, right?
No, I think that the time trial. I think they do have 2 time trialists this year because that's based again by like a world championship finishing last year or something like that. But I think we have 2, but they have to come from the road racers too. Yeah. So I know the USA Cycling wants to have 100% discretionary, but then again, there are certain rules too about Olympic qualifying too that the USOC and the IAOC have, I think, too, that come into play. So it's a little bit it's interesting because there should be some way for an unknown kind of to make the team. If you're, let's say that an amateur crushes the time trial, or a domestic pro crushes the time trial, they should be able to get the spot. Even though they say no, Brandon McNulty's flying this year, he's won a bunch of World Tour time trials, he gets it no matter what. There needs to be a chance for somebody who, maybe is flying and could do a good job and have a chance to make the team too. So, but those rules are published someplace. I might have gotten an email about it. I was just real quick looking through policies, and yeah, I don't see it off the top of my head. So we can look maybe for next time.
Yeah.
Before nationals sometime.
It was the women's side though where they had legal
Frequently.
battles, didn't they?
Frequently.
Because of,
Yeah.
yeah.
One year, actually, somebody was on the airplane, and they made a decision that they didn't. They got the qualifying spot. It was reversed. They landed in Norway, I think it was, and immediately had to get back on the plane and go home. And the other person was flying over in that time period to get on. So yeah, they mucked it up a bunch of times where they haven't been real transparent about things or real clear about things, and yeah, it is hard. Anyway, so I got a lot of
especially Olympics only every 4 years.
Yeah.
On the Olympics only happen every 4 years, and it's
but Norway it's world championship. Yeah.
So. I think any athlete.
Well,
so
Brent Buchholzer, he crashed in 2016 in the Tour de France, and he said normally he would have stopped racing and recovered because he had Olympics coming up. He made the selection, but he was afraid that if he abandoned the tour to get ready for the Olympics, he would get challenged by other athletes and say, "Hey, Brent's hurt, he can't race," and not let him do it. And then he would challenge his spot on the Olympic team, because then we only had two people. I think he and Taylor Phinney were the two that raced that year. And so, there's a lot of pressure to do things you might not normally do once you get the Olympic spot. Because you're right, to be an Olympian, that's fantastic. It used to be when it was just amateurs, the pros, gave up that opportunity. But now, a lot of pros who have never been Olympians, you get the chance to be Olympian. That's still the pinnacle of a lot of people.
It's huge. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get the rest of the interview, since I don't get to that many races. I don't get that many. Yeah. So Kevin Vermaerke, had not met him before. He's bragging so well for DSM Firmernich PostNL, and I didn't do my homework very well before the interview, not remembering. I kind of wasn't sure that he didn't do a Grand Tour. He did the Tour de France last year, so, and also that
Super
he was
strong Liège this year, where he was in the final group and did a lot of work, and Romain Bardet second in that race too. So he's been riding really strongly.
Yeah, it was nice to talk to him. He's a good guy.
Talking to Kevin Vermaerke. So DSM Classics rider, man, you've been tearing it up this year. You've been consistently at the top of every race. So are you still holding your form through the now, or is it getting to be the end? What's going on?
I'm actually should be peaking right now. I did a altitude camp right before the Ardennes, so this past week I really felt the benefits of it, and tonight I fly to the Giro, so that's the big goal of this first half of the season. So hopefully my form should be really good, and I like the hot weather, so we'll see how it goes today.
All right, you guys got a plan to do what you can with John today. This is a home race, but it's a little more difficult with the more climbing now.
Yeah, it's quite a hard race. I think you see the other teams also have not so many sprinters here anymore, and I think it suits me pretty well. And we also have Frank, who just won Tour of Turkey, so I think hopefully if it explodes on the climb, then we can have a couple guys in a small group of 10 to 15, and I think that's the best chance for us to try and win the race.
Wait, kind of how it played out last year then. Did you look at last year?
Exactly. I wasn't here, but I watched the highlights, and I think that's is kind of the perfect scenario if it can happen again.
All right, so heading to the Giro after this, you're glad that it isn't last year's weather. You're hoping for more like today, right? A warmer, hotter Giro than a cold one like last year?
Yeah, if it's like today, I'm not going to complain, but it's the Giro, you never know. And I'm sure there'll be a couple pretty bad days, but luckily the Ardennes kind of prepared me for that. And it is what it is. I'm not going to look too far into the future and just take it day by day, but definitely hoping it's a little bit better than last year.
And is this is your first Grand Tour, is it? Or did you?
No, I did the tour last year.
You did the tour last year? Oh, I missed the tour.
My first Giro.
The first Giro,
yeah.
Okay, so you'll see the difference in not as big a zoo as the tour, but a lot of more passionate fans and really just great racing, more open racing.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, and more open racing is kind of what I'm hoping for. And the tour is so big now, and we have super teams like UAE and Jumbo, and they keep every breakaway on a minute and a half, and I'm hoping it'll be a bit more of an open Giro and some bigger breakaways going. And I'll look for stages from the break, and we have Bardet for the GC and Fabio for the sprint. So yeah, I think we have quite a good team, and hopefully it can be a successful race.
Have you circled any stages in particular, ones that you are keen to get a break on those stages?
I think stage 1 will be quite interesting, and I think it kind of has Pogačar written all over it, but yeah, I think there could be a chance for me to maybe get in the white jersey, so that would be pretty cool. And from then on, it's just, yeah, I think there are a lot of stages that could be breakaways, so those are all circled for me, and I'll just try and be smart with my energy, and yeah, when I have an opportunity, make the most of it.
What did you learn about yourself as far as how you perform after 3 weeks of racing, or into the third week of racing, being in a Grand Tour?
Yeah, last year at the Tour I was completely unknown, but it was actually, I think the third week was my best week of the race, and so that gave me a lot of confidence. And you know, I've done a lot more training this year, and I think I've matured a bit physically, so hopefully it'll be even better this year. And yeah, just knowing you've done it before, and knowing you have the consistency to stay stable through the 3 weeks, I think will be a bit more of a confidence booster this time. Last year I was a little uncertain of how I would be in the end, but now I've experienced it once, so yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, sounds exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, Kevin Vermaerke. I can see him maybe getting a big result. I think he's a little disappointed so far to be strong and racing with, high, top results, but nothing like a win. So there's nothing like a win, right? I mean, you can race good. And like even Matteo Jorgensen up until last year, before he had gotten a win, he was starting to doubt himself, like being a pro. Like, I'm gonna look at him now.
Yeah.
So
well, I think it changes everything too. When you've done something, then you know you can do it. And even if like Pidcock said, his numbers in Liège, Liège were good enough to win, but yet he expended energy where he shouldn't have. And so you just look at the numbers, you can say, well, I'm really going well, but if you don't get a win, then even if you're going well, you're kind of like have that doubt, well, maybe this isn't the role I can play as a winner. But once you get that, then you're like, yeah, everybody has more confidence in you, have more confidence in yourself. And Kevin's been racing great. I mean, he raced well last year, he's racing well now. I think especially it's nice to hear him say that he's peaking now. He's coming into a peak for the Giro because he's been racing strongly up to this point. And that's kind of the way you want to be. You don't want to be peaking as you're racing strongly prior to your target event, but that happens all the time. People have to be in really good shape to get selected for the target event, and then they go to the target event and they're almost on the downward slide because they had to be in such good shape before that just to be able to get to where they are. And now for him, he's got that spot secured. He's been racing really well as he's been building his form, so now he's hitting it just at the right time. So yeah, I think certainly he's proven that he can ride at the front of the peloton even in really hard races. Like at Liège, it was so hard at the parts where he was hanging in there really strongly. I think he's shown he can do that, and so yeah, I'd look forward to him being certainly a dark horse at any chance of getting in a breakaway and getting a win, and certainly doing a lot of work for his team too.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully, like he says, and like we think, that Giro will be more open to breakaways, maybe getting to the line, and riders, they like the opportunity, of course, to be able to get another break to win a stage, and not like if they're in a race where Visma Lisa Bike and UAE are keeping a short leash and all the GC guys are taking all the wins. So
yeah,
it's gonna be super interesting with the Giro. We would be normally maybe doing a Giro kind of preview, being right before the Giro starting this weekend, but there's so many previews out there, and there's so many people. It's more of like a discussion, like how will Pogačar win this Giro? Like, is he going to be smart about it? Is he going to try to win a lot? Will he take the lead right away and then just have to follow and conserve energy and be able to race to build his form for the Tour and not expend too much energy? But it's really unpredictable. I mean,
yeah, more of the talk has been who's going to win the sprint stages rather than who's going to win the overall, because everybody's almost taking it for granted that Pogačar is going to get the win, and then who else will be fighting for the podium? Whether it's Ben O'Connor or Garrett Thomas or who else might be in that situation. But yeah, you're right. So, and there's more top sprinters there than there are top GC people there necessarily. And yeah, some of the people are looking for wins still, and some other people have gotten a lot of them already. I mean, like Tim Miller has 7 wins already, and Bobby Atkinson has won, Caleb Ewing has won. So it's like, maybe it's going to be Coy and Milan that are fighting those more. But that's certainly going to be exciting for that. But yeah, I think for the overall, and some people are saying even too. So I'm not sure when Garrett took the pink jersey last year, but relatively early, he was in it for a long time. They said that Pogačar could take it the first day and hold it the whole time, and they said it's not a priority for UAE and stuff too. But just by the nature of the course, it's so hard right away, and Pogačar's not going to like just let someone else have it. He's going to try and win races when he can. So that's more the right. How long is he going to be in the pink? How much will he win by? Will he hold back at all? And try and save a little bit for the tour, or what is more for the overall? But I think always, for us, especially race fans, each stage is going to have its own nuances and who can do well in those races, and then watching the sprint stages play out too is always exciting for people that like us who just love racing.
Well, last year it seemed like Derek G was a big revelation for Israel Premier Tech. So I was kind of looking at, okay, how is he going? Is he? I mean, I didn't check. Is he racing the Giro? Maybe he's going to race the Tour this year. I don't know. And then like Ben Healy as well for EF Education. And so Ben Healy didn't really have such a great day today. I mean, the Giro's starting in a few days, but and Derek G was kind of a support role today, because we'll finish up the interviews because Riley Sheehan, who finished third on the podium, was getting the support of his team in his first year. He's just really thrilled. It was pretty interesting to talk to him, because when I mentioned about where he came from a year ago from racing domestically in the U.S. to where he is now, he's super happy about that. So here's, I've got Riley before and then right after the race, where he was like still just coming down after finishing. So, but yeah, here's Riley Sheehan.
With Riley Sheehan here, Israel Premier Tech at the Eschborn-Frankfurt one-day race. So, are you familiar at all with this race? What do you know about this race?
Not too much. I mean, just been here for 2 days and ridden the course a bit. Looks pretty awesome though. Kind of psyched. I don't think I've raced in Germany since I was a junior, and I mean, with the weather here, I need to come to Germany more. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, usually not this warm, but
no.
Yeah. All right, so you got the number one, like a 61. So looking for like a day race for Riley today, huh? You're looking for a good result?
Yeah, exactly. So thankfully the team's going to back me today, and it's a good course for me, I think. There's a lot of climbers here, but the big climb isn't too steep, but yeah, I like this course. It could be really good for me. I mean, really good also means I got to fight real deep. So yeah, psyched.
Probably be a smaller group, maybe like last year, that comes to the finish. So you'll have to just pick the right time to get away with the guys like, Søren Carl Anderson, who won last year. There's going to probably be a group maybe 10 to 15 possibly. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, that's what we're kind of seeing how it'll shape up. But I mean, anything can happen. It just depends on how some of the other teams ride these climbs. But yeah, I think we're expecting something similar to last year.
Yeah, how's your form?
Really good. I spent 16 days in altitude, and I just did a race a few days ago in Belgium, and I was flying. So hopefully I can have the same legs I had the other day, and
Sure beats racing the circuit for the Denver Disruptors in the U.S., does it?
Oh man, I'm so psyched to be here. This is so special. This is a different level and different reality. I mean, I'm really happy and fortunate. My hard work paid off and got me to ride for a great team here.
Yeah, well, you've earned it. I mean, you're consistently placing very well in races up till now this year. Does the team have good expectations then for you, or what?
Yeah, they're super great. I mean, they've been so supportive. I'm blown away about the support and like giving me leadership roles and everything. Which, I mean, that's my first year pro, and I've done 3 monuments this year. I don't think anywhere else would give me that opportunity. This is incredible.
So, yeah, you like hot weather? You like cooler weather? How do you perform in warmer weather?
I kind of figured it out a bit in the heat last year, but I prefer the cold weather for sure. So, got the summer suit on today and the more vented helmet, so it should be okay. And up the top of the climb, it's a bit cooler, thankfully. So, fingers crossed.
All right. Well, good luck. Have a great race. Have fun.
Right on. Thank you.
How was it?
Awful.
Awful.
I was dropped twice. I mean, shit. I never gave up. So, type 2 fun, I guess.
You were close though. Huh?
Yeah, I got boxed in a bit, but had the momentum, and yeah, I mean, I just never gave up. The line is the line, so I'm not gonna stop until the line.
Way to fight for it. Good job.
Thank you.
I didn't even know he got third. I knew he was up there right at the end. I mean, it was such a quick finish. I was a little bit further back. I wasn't right. I was behind all the photographers around a curve a little bit. I was behind the photographers that had a photo vest. I just had the lanyard, and there was a few others like us. So I got the post up by Van Hills, which was kind of like a it wasn't a big post up that he did. Riley was coming fast on one side. Aaron Brewer, I didn't really see him. So yeah, but
It's a good shot though.
once
We should put it on our Facebook page or something so we can have that shot. So
yeah, I think I did. I put him on Instagram, and I think they go to Facebook, so I'll have to double check. But he was coming fast, and I think once it sunk in that he was on the podium of a World Tour race, that I think he was pretty happy afterwards. He got a big beer. Yeah. He got this big. They had these big beers, but they're 0 alcohol.
Yeah. Which is weird.
Yeah,
but that's kind of sweeping the peloton in some ways. The amateur peloton too, the 0 beers. But in Germany, I heard too, it's super popular. And it seems like our traditional view of Germans are they're big beer drinkers, but apparently it doesn't have to be with the alcohol.
Right. I think there's a law that every brewery has to brew at least one non-alcoholic beer in their lineup. So yeah, and he had this big beer. I got a picture of that on my Instagram, Warren Cycling Instagram. You can follow us there, and also Warren Cycling on our Facebook page. But then I saw him later. He was still carrying it around, and it was still pretty full. I don't know where he was gonna
keep them up.
Yeah. So he got another thing. I couldn't tell what it was in the back. Yeah, he got flowers too. So it's much better to get third place in a one-day race than in any Grand Tour stage, because there's no podium you don't get anything.
You make the podium, but they don't actually. You're not actually on the podium. So yeah, which
was always unusual for the European racers when they came to race at the Tour of California or the USA Pro Challenge, because in the US they did 3-person podiums, and so. But I think they were happy when they were
there was second or third. Yeah.
But they were getting nice prizes, so I think they probably didn't mind. But
no, sure.
Yeah.
They probably said we should do this in Europe. Well, it used to be too. In Europe, they would go first place, second place, third place. Where in America, they would go third place, second place, first place. So like when I won a race, luckily in Russia for the Masters World Championships, so the stage race, I won and I was announced first. They would get all the accolades and stuff too. And then they put the second place and third place person up there too. So they don't do that anymore. But that's how they used to.
They did 3-2-1 today.
Yeah. So that was 94, I think, so a while ago. But that's how they used to do it though, I guess, in Europe for everything. And then now they do it more of a building up to the top rather than top first and then going down. I checked on the Israel Primatech Giro lineup. Doesn't have Derek G on there, so they must be saving
it. Maybe he's earned. Okay, well, good. He's got some time to.
So you have another interview though too, right? Because we should get that, because unfortunately I have to go pretty soon, and so
no,
right?
That was all the interviews.
Oh, that was interviews. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I make sure we didn't miss any, because it's always special. I think our listeners our viewers also like having the interviews, because it's great when you're able to get insights that people don't normally get. Because even if you read an article or hear if you watch someone else's video coverage and stuff too, they're only going to interview usually the first place person, and it's pretty short too. So the interviews you're getting, at least for me, I'm super interested in them. I love hearing that kind of extra insight, and especially since people like Neilson you've interviewed multiple times too, and so he's a little more comfortable with you and understands too, kind of a rapport that can give us a little bit more insight.
Sure. Yeah. Well, no time for birthdays then?
Oh no, we got a couple minutes. Not many.
Okay.
But so yeah.
All right.
Real quick though too, for the Giro, we should say too. I mean, Luke
We
Lampardi.
talk about the Tour of Romandy and all, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, just
Carlos Rodriguez. Yeah.
A lot of Americans, in there too. So.
The Giro. Yeah.
Of course. Yep. Will Barta, Luke Lampardi, who's going to be leading out Tim Merlier, I guess, and looking maybe for a few opportunities too. And then is Magnus Sheffield?
Larry Warbass.
Larry Warbass is gonna be there. Yeah, Magnus Sheffield too. So
Magnus Sheffield, yeah, that's
yeah, Christian Vandervelde, I was listening to be on the podium, and he was saying he talked to Larry 2 days ago in the morning, and he was really excited to be able to go back to the Giro too. And I've been noticing Larry on Strava has been doing a lot of easier rides on the trainer too.
Yeah.
So,
well, he did the big altitude camp in Mount Etna, and he said he usually performs really well after altitude when.
Yeah. So this is probably
I guess
more
I talked to
Americans.
Barcelona. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
event, there will be.
Yeah, and if it's an open race and their guys are getting in breaks more, then maybe more chances for a stage win, right?
Yeah, definitely. And we've got the people that can do it too. I mean, sometimes we have people that are just pure domestiques and don't really ever get a chance to, just to have a chance for a stage win too. But, almost everybody here has won a World Tour race or been in the mix and had a chance to be out the front. So I think that there's a relatively good chance, as good a chance as we've ever had for an American to maybe be, get a stage win maybe.
Right. Well, we want to do birthdays, but I was gonna say it's already tomorrow in Europe, but it's not. I'm here in Europe. No, I can see it's 10:50, so it's not tomorrow yet. I was thinking, we're gonna miss May 1st. It's gonna be May 2nd. No, it's still May 1st here. It's been a long day. I landed this morning and been going all day. So, 70 years old. We usually don't always have like an older person at the top of the list and someone that I can't say I'm that familiar with, right?
No.
Jerry Verlinden.
Verlinden, right? Belgian, he's 70 years old. So he raced from 77 to 86. So just about the time I started really watching cycling, 86, 87, 88, around there too. So a little bit before, and so he's on Fenglio Karosh team at the end, and is Isabruca Colnago was his team for his first team. So not teams that were, household words for sure. It didn't have a ton.
He didn't have a ton of points either. They're not a lot of people on May 1st with a ton of points.
Yeah, he won stages of the Tour de Suisse and 2 stages of the Tour de France, and he won a stage of the Deutschland Tour. So he had some wins for sure. But yeah, he said it's always good to see.
Yeah, and we get to learn a new name or someone that we hadn't had that much knowledge of before, right?
Yeah, and he's primarily a sprinter too. So.
All right, first active rider celebrating birthday today, Valentina Scandalara.
Yeah, 34 years old.
Yeah, she's Italian, and she won a stage at the International Thüringer Rundfahrt der Frauen, so it's a pretty big race, women's race in Germany. She's 34. Happy birthday.
The first American is Andrew Bahadelli. Is that how you say his name under? And he raced, for Optum and Kelly Benefits for quite a while, and Jelly Belly, and has, decent number. He won the GC of the Tour of Thailand, so in 2009, and won a stage. So yeah, I can't say I'm super familiar with him, but he's 51 years old, and yeah, he's got some good results.
Well, Todd Hendrickson celebrating his birthday. He's 40 today, and now. I know Todd Hendrickson. I'm sure it's the same one. I think he lives in Girona now. He works with like Athletes in Action.
Oh.
I didn't know that he had such a career. So
Jessica Kara also was her birthday. She raced for Higgins Berman through 2019. So she's 42 years old.
Erica Clavinger is 30 today.
Quite a few Americans today on the list.
Yeah. Erica had a lot of high results racing at the Joe Martin stage race before in the Tour of Gila. Race with DNA, Team Cateco.
It's great to have those have been UCI races, because then they get in these point structures.
Yeah.
Melissa Seib, maybe SEIB.
Corey St. Clair.
27 years old.
Owen Cole. Jonah Kelly. Wow. Lots of birthdays May 1st, huh?
May 1st, yeah. Yeah.
All right. We hit the birthdays.
Yay.
Checked them off. We didn't talk about the Tour of Romandy. Carlos Rodriguez, nice win for Ineos. So Ineos is getting some wins.
Yeah.
Spaniards are coming back. Juan Ayuso wasn't able to hold on.
No, no, but he also
Lipowitz,
he was one race the week before, so
yeah, he won the Tour of Basque.
Yeah.
So Lipowitz for Bora Hansgrohe, that's a new name. He was really strong.
He came on really strong. Actually, almost beat the EF guy who won the
Oh yeah, Richard Carapaz. He almost caught Carapaz at the line. He went a little late.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Thibaut Nice got a stage win. That was a big deal. Thibaut Nice.
Yeah.
Winning
from a breakaway
World Tour race.
Yeah. So he's primarily a sprinter, and it was
a fast finisher. Yeah.
Yeah, medium climbing stage. So
he was there today. He was in Frankfurt today.
Oh, good. Yeah, he's definitely still really young and a decent quality. Yeah.
All right. It's hard to stop talking, isn't it? You got to get going. Always lots to talk about, right?
Yeah, I've got a camp coming starting on Sunday, and so I've got a camp meeting I need to get to. So my final camp that I've got planned right now for this year, but I'm already starting to plan for next year. I already have a bunch of people interested in going to the Giro Sardinia, which just ended last Friday.
Yeah.
Recent edition. And Bruno, a guy I raced with last year, won his age group, and Max, he was 11th overall at one point, but I think Bruno ended up 11th. So I'm not sure where Max ended up at 56 years old. He still duking it out with the fastest guys there. So, but we're planning to go back again next year. So if you're interested in that,
start thinking about Giro Sardinia 2025. Sounds great.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it's never ending with planning for camps for sure. Yep.
That's awesome, and you'll get a face like that. Of happiness of racing in Italy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Randy. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, Dean. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.